169 ไทย PBS เล่นใหญ่ปรับเปลี่ยนโปรแกรมใหม่โดนทุกช่วงวัยใหม่ทุกเวลาแล้วพบกัน 2569
Tonight on the program, the economic damage from the flooding in Hat Yai and what has the government done so far. Then Thailand's path to demographic resilience. And we explore the roots of reggae music in Thailand with Srirajah rockers. Swadika, I'm Nad Bunag and welcome to This Week with Thai PBS World. We begin tonight with the recovery process following the worst floods in the south, especially in Hat Yai district of Thailand's Songkhla province. So what has the government done so far to ease people's burden and help them to resume their normal lives? This is what Hat Yai looked like before. This is when Hat Yai was completely flooded and what it looks like now. This is the amount of debris that is left following the worst flooding in over 25 years. Market vendors had no choice but to sell off their products covered in mud at very low prices like a clearance sale. Volunteers and the military came together to clean up the city, including Hat Yai Hospital, and to help restore some facilities. Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul ordered the local government and authorities to complete the cleanup in the municipal area. He has set a clear deadline that people should be able to return home in 7 days, and the city must be clean within 14 days. The flooding in 10 southern provinces in Thailand has affected at least 2 million people, or about 798,000 households. And so far, the cabinet has rolled out other financial programs to help flood victims in southern provinces. These include loans for house repairs, loans for career rehabilitation, and there's also debt and interest moratoria for 1 year on loans not exceeding 1 million baht. Apart from the 9,000 baht compensation distributed to flood victims, the government has also agreed to pay 2 million baht compensation to relatives of flood victims who died from flooding in Songkhla, including 7 other provinces. And the Commerce Ministry has also helped flood victims reduce their cost of living. They have coordinated with product manufacturers and modern trade outlets to offer discounts on daily necessities and construction materials. At the same time, the Labor Ministry has implemented several measures to help employers and employees affected by the flooding in the south. So if you've been made redundant by the floods in the south, then you might be eligible to receive half of your salary for at least 6 months. There are also 4,000 manual jobs for unskilled and migrant workers at 300 baht per day for 10 days. And if your banknotes have been damaged by the floods, the Bank of Thailand has introduced a banknote clinic in flood-affected areas to exchange damaged banknotes for new ones. Several economic institutions predict immense losses from the floods in the south. And according to the Economic Business Forecasting Center of the University of the Thai Chamber of Commerce, the flooding will cause economic damage of over 40 billion baht, which accounts for 0.22% of Thailand's GDP. And the tourism and services sector suffered the greatest losses at about 22 billion baht. Other sectors affected are agriculture, where it estimated 10 billion baht in economic losses, followed by the manufacturing and utility sector estimated at 6.8 billion baht. Meanwhile, the Songkhla Chamber of Commerce predicts that the floods will cost at least 20 billion baht in economic losses. And due to the severity of the damage, they think that it would take at least 3 months for the province to fully recover and reopen to tourists. And Songkhla's tourism industry alone may lose as much as 7 billion baht, which may increase to 10 billion if the recovery is delayed even further. The Hat Yai Songkhla Hotels Association explains that it's because the floods coincided with tourism's high season and the province has lost the opportunity to host major events, specifically the 33rd SEA Games, which are now being relocated to Bangkok. And the 9,000 baht compensation for each household affected by the flooding situation is obviously not enough. The president of the Songkhla Chamber of Commerce called on the government to speed up recovery efforts. More specifically, they want support measures for local businesses, such as compensation for employees and interest-free loans with longer repayment terms. He also suggests that the government launch tourism stimulus packages for Hat Yai. Some examples include tax deductions for both tourists and businesses to boost spending. What is far more important in the long run, though, is investment in major infrastructure to address flooding and natural disasters, especially with the existing drainage systems, which are no longer sufficient, considering heavier rainfall, rapid urban expansion, and other factors that have intensified flooding in recent years. And like we just mentioned before, Hat Yai has faced its worst flooding in more than 25 years, and the floods were at least 2 meters deep. In some communities, the flooding was so severe that it reached the second floor of many homes. People in one particular area might not have survived if they did not escape to this abandoned house. Srirajah was there to cover the flooding in Hat Yai and reflects on how these people fought to survive.
Back on November 22nd, Hat Yai was submerged under at least 2 meters of floodwater. This area called Hat Yai Nai was among the hardest hit. The community sits between two main waterways. One is the Utapao Canal and another is the R1 Drainage Canal, which were already overflowing with floodwater at that time. Flooding is nothing new for people in this community, and most of them know what to do and how to prepare for the floods. But not this time.
Today, I'm taking you on a tour of an abandoned house that just saved about almost 70 people who were affected from Hat Yai floods. Well, as you can see, in this area, most of the houses are two-floor houses. But when the floods came, the water was so high as it reached to the second floor of the most of the houses. That's why people escaped away and hide in this place.
They weren't rescued by professional teams, but by a group of local teenagers. They transported people to the second floor of this building.
มาวันที่น้ำท่วมวันแรกมันไม่สูงครับมันขึ้นมาแล้วก็มันลงไปแล้วเราก็ไปเอาเรือกันมาเอามาตั้งไว้ตอนแรกก็ไม่คิดว่าน้ำมันขึ้นสูงเหมือนกัน
One of the members used to drive speedboats. Others acted as navigators, finding routes and searching for people in need of help.
จากท้ายซอยกลางซอยบริเวณนี้แล้วก็ซอยด้านหลังเพราะซอยด้านหลังเป็นบ้านชั้นครึ่งก็เลยช่วยไว้นี่หมด
As the floodwater turned into fast-moving currents, they managed to save only those from nearby lands, about 70 people in total. The building is an empty apartment. Men stayed at the second floor, while women and children stayed at the third. 5 to 10 people were squeezed into a single room. Some families were rescued by boat and some escaped along the balconies. This is only the wooden board that they used to cross through the abandoned building from some houses behind the building.
ตอนนี้3 หลังนี้ตอนนั้นก็3 หลังนี้ก็รวมก็10 กว่าคนแล้วฝั่งนู้นก็อยู่บ้าน60 กว่าคนแล้วตอนนี้แล้วการช่วยเหลือได้มีคนเข้ามาช่วยไม่มี
The reception, water, and electricity were cut off since the first day that the floodwater flowed into the area. The food and supplies were also running out and was not enough for 70 people, including the elderly, the sick, and young children. Ekasan and his neighbor decided to swim to seek help.
ตอนนั้นนาทีชีวิตเนี่ยนาทีชีวิตแล้วมันก็มีอ่ะช่วงน้ำซัดคิดว่าทำไงก็ได้เอาชีวิตตัวเองกลับมา
It took them an entire day to find their way back, only to discover that no assistance had arrived.
แล้ววันนั้นผมก็ไปแจ้งศูนย์ช่วยเหลืออยู่เขามาตั้งศูนย์อยู่ที่หน้าโลตัสผมแจ้งแล้วแจ้งพิกัดไปให้เขาเรียบร้อยแล้วพอกลับมาเราก็ยังใจชื้นว่าสงสัยคนบนตึกคงได้เสบียงกันบ้างเราก็ไปเล่เปื่อยของเรากลับมาไม่เห็นมีเรือเข้ามาสักลำไม่มีใครเข้ามาส่งอาหาร
Days passed. The only option was for the local boat to continue going out to find food and supplies. The 70 people survived the crisis. They all say that without this abandoned building, they would have had nowhere else to escape the floodwater. Today, the building, now owned by a bank and listed for sale, is remembered as the place that saved dozens of lives. Warisala Sehan reporting for Thai PBS World.
And now let's move on to education. We recently talked to the Finnish Minister of Education on increasing PISA scores and how education is tackling the use of AI in schools. Also, now that Thailand is trying to improve bilingual education, what would Finland's suggestion be to develop children to have the ability to speak more than one language?
One part we have to talk about, I think it's very important, is PISA scores. Since you come in as Minister of Education, what's your policy and strategy to strengthen Finland's education system?
The PISA score is something that Finns really follow.
Yeah.
We take pride in our educational system, and of course, when we now see a slight downward trend, we see that as a serious question. At present, we are digging into the reasons behind it. We have not got all the results yet, but we have an idea of what we should strengthen. We see that kids read less. We see that in this age where we are bombarded by digital media, by short bursts of information, where our attention span is being challenged, we have increased the hours of literature, reading, writing and mathematics in our lower grades 1 to 6. That is to focus on the basic skills that we know are essential. We are trying to create calm in the classroom by eliminating the mobile phones. So in many ways, the focus is on securing that the teacher has the ability to teach.
Another factor we have to talk about, of course, is artificial intelligence and technology used in classroom and education too. So how to integrate, how to utilize AI and new technology into classrooms.
In Finland, we released national guidelines of the use of AI earlier this year. So that's guidelines for good ethical use of AI in our schools. Then our municipalities have a lot of autonomy. We don't have a very centralized educational system, but we have local adaptations. So different municipalities have different approaches. And then, of course, there is a strong feedback loop from the teachers to the ministry, to our National Board of Education in order to gather the good practices and then develop the system further. But I think what's the role of education and what should we focus on when we suddenly have machines that produce real-looking results? We have taken the first steps. We have these guidelines and are, of course, continuously trying to develop our pedagogical approach.
What do you concern the most over the usage of AI right now in education?
Well, I think it's important that our students, our children, learn to process information. That you can read a number of texts, get your own idea, create a synthesis, because that teaches you to process information, to understand it. And of course, if you do that, not by reading the stuff, but by taking 4 documents and throwing them into ChatGPT or whatever language model you are using, and then you get a digested answer, then there's a lot that you don't learn, that you don't understand. That is maybe my main concern. Then there's good uses. I think it's easy to imagine that an app that uses AI as an engine that asks the student a question, that analyzes the answer, and through that the level of the student that then responds with a more difficult question. It's easy to imagine that these are very effective tutorials, tools. They can support learning, they can spar the student, they can get the student really engaged, and through that be effective. So I don't think it's about using it, it's about how we use it.
Another part I think we have to talk about is bilingual education. How important is the language policy for Finnish?
So in Finland we have two official languages, Finnish and Swedish. You learn both in school. So you can go to a Swedish-speaking school and have Finnish as a compulsory subject, and you can go to a Finnish-speaking school and having Swedish as a compulsory subject. And then you usually start in Finnish-speaking schools to learn English when you're 7 on first grade. But generally I would say that students are good at English, and one reason is also, of course, the media environment they live in. In Finland, you don't have dubbed programs. English programs are always in English with subtitles, and that's the environment where the kids have grown up. They have listened to English most of their life, and I think that creates an environment where you almost learn it by yourself. But to study early is probably the key. When you're young, it's easy to learn a language, and that has been the approach of Finnish schools.
Well, I wish that I could speak more than just English and Thai. And now let's have a look at the other stories making headlines throughout the week in our weekly roundup. Most of Bangkok have been covered by an excessive amount of PM 2.5 dust, exceeding the 37.5 micron standard level. The air quality in Bangkok and its suburbs is forecast to deteriorate and will pose a threat to health. The Bangkok Metropolitan Administration is seeking cooperation from the public and private sectors by allowing their employees to work from home for at least 1 day per week until the end of March. Photos of Prime Minister Anutin Chanvirakul taken with one of the key suspects known as Ben Smith went viral on social media only hours after he presided over a press conference to announce a crackdown on major scam networks on Wednesday. Anutin told Channel 3 that the picture in question was taken in 2014 during a casual meeting while he was visiting Singapore. He denied having any association or personal relationship with Ben Smith, whose real name is Benjamin Malberger. Thailand is ready to welcome delegates from 10 other ASEAN countries participating in the upcoming 33rd SEA Games next week. The region's biannual sporting event is due to be held between December 9th and 20th in Bangkok and Chonburi, following the delisting of Songkhla as one of the host cities due to the recent floods. From natural disasters and economic revival to improving education, every individual is affected one way or the other. But the challenges facing every sector right now is demographic changes. This means the labor force is changing. Some schools may become less stable because of declining birth rates, or senior services will have to adapt to cope with the increasingly aging population. So what needs to be addressed if Thailand wants to become a demographically resilient society? Aging societies, declining birth rates, and generational gaps. These demographic shifts are challenging all aspects of society, affecting the labor force, medical health services, and the overall economy. So how can Thai society develop demographic resilience? The director of the Institute for Population and Social Research at Mahidol University explains that demographic changes can be forecast, but many sectors have not been prepared enough for their impacts. Still, there is room for improvement, such as social welfare for elders and the quality of childcare.
อันหนึ่งก็คือในเรื่องของระบบ social protection ต่างๆ นะครับในการที่ทำให้โดยเฉพาะกลุ่มผู้สูงอายุที่เพิ่มมากขึ้นเนี่ยมีความคุ้มครองมีความมั่นคงโดยเฉพาะทางด้านรายได้นะครับเพนชั่นของเราเนี่ยยังค่อนข้างจำกัดในส่วนของเบี้ยยังชีพก็ยังค่อนข้างพึ่งพารายจ่ายจากภาครัฐนะครับเป็นหลักเพราะฉะนั้นในอนาคตค่าใช้จ่ายตรงนี้ไม่มีแนวโน้มเพิ่มสูงขึ้นนั่นโจทย์ก็คือว่าทำยังไงปริมาณเราเปลี่ยนแปลงไปแล้วโครงสร้างเปลี่ยนแปลงไปแล้วแต่ทำยังไงให้คุณภาพของประชากรไทยเราสามารถดีขึ้นแล้วก็มาออฟเซ็ตในผลที่มันเกิดขึ้นจากประชากรตรงนี้ได้เพราะฉะนั้นการลงทุนในเด็กการให้ความสำคัญกับคุณภาพการเกิดทุกๆคนที่เกิดขึ้นมาในแต่ละช่วงวัยที่เราเรียกว่า life cycle model หรือว่า life course approach นะครับเป็นโจทย์ที่มีความสำคัญที่ถ้าเรายังทำตอนนี้ได้ทันเนี่ยมันก็ยังทำให้ผลกระทบที่มันเกิดขึ้นในยาวเนี่ยอาจจะลดน้อยลงได้ครับ
Thailand is experiencing declining birth rates, which have fallen below the death rates in recent years. During the first 9 months of 2025, about 309,000 births were recorded. This is part of the downward trend in which birth rates have seen 7 to 10% decreases every year. While the challenges are complex, Thailand's Department of Health has been trying to push for an increase in childbirths and has added this to the national agenda, which will involve several ministries. Other urgent measures include expanding access to infertility treatment.
ความท้าทายก็คือปัญหาเรื่องนี้เนี่ยมันเป็นปัญหาที่ซับซ้อนเกี่ยวพันหลายภาคส่วนนะครับไม่ได้จำกัดอยู่เฉพาะภาคส่วนใดภาคส่วนหนึ่งเช่นมันไม่ใช่เรื่องของบริการทางสาธารณสุขอย่างเดียวมันเป็นเรื่องของเศรษฐกิจสังคมแล้วก็ทุกส่วนเนี่ยมันเกี่ยวเนื่องกันถ้าจะกำหนดนโยบายหรือจะดำเนินงานแก้ปัญหาเนี่ยทุกคนต้องทำพร้อมกันก็คือทำแค่ภาคส่วนใดภาคส่วนหนึ่งเนี่ยไม่ได้ผลการดำเนินงานเราจึงต้องมีทิศทางนโยบายยุทธศาสตร์ที่ชัดเจนแล้วก็ทุกฝ่ายต้องร่วมกันดำเนินงานในส่วนที่เกี่ยวข้องไปพร้อมกันจึงจะคาดหวังว่าคนอาจจะแบบตัดสินใจอยากมีบุตรเพิ่มขึ้นแล้วก็ช่วยลดปัญหาเด็กเกิดน้อยของเราในตอนนี้ได้นะครับ
Meanwhile, Thailand has become an aged society with over 20% of the population being over 60 years old. As Thailand deals with demographic changes, building and improving an ecosystem that is able to thrive through these changes is vital. A CEO of a wellness conglomerate suggests that the ecosystem should start with city planning, particularly increasing walkable and universally accessible cities. Improving the quality of senior housing, financial security, upskilling, and reskilling retired individuals are also important.
ผมว่า wellness ecosystem คือการสร้างสังคมที่คนจะเกิดเยอะคนจะเกิดน้อยผู้สูงอายุจะมากเท่าไหร่ไม่สำคัญเท่าคุณภาพชีวิตหมอเชื่ออย่างนั้นว่าถ้าเด็กเกิดไม่เยอะก็ขอให้ทุกคนที่เกิดมาเนี่ยแข็งแรงถ้าคนทำงานที่หดตัวลงก็ขอให้มี quality สูงหรือจะมีผู้สูงอายุเยอะก็ขอให้เป็น healthy aging society ไม่ใช่แค่ aging society demographic resilience เนี่ยเรียกได้ว่าเป็น the immune system of the country หรือเป็นภูมิคุ้มกันภูมิต้านทานของประเทศเราถ้าระบบนี้เข้มแข็งนะครับประเทศไทยเราซึ่งเป็นเหมือนร่างกายเราก็จะยั่งยืน sustainable แล้วก็มีโอกาสในการแข่งขันกับทั่วโลกได้แน่นอน
Ultimately, achieving demographic resilience is not only about analyzing statistics or the population. These experts agree that it cannot be just one ministry solving the issue alone, but it requires strong cooperation from the government, the private sector, and the public to address the challenges and ensure a better quality of life for all throughout their lives. Nad Bunag reporting for Thai PBS World. And there's more to the problem that meets the eye. So there are still many other issues that needs to be addressed. And now in this episode of Waltz, we learn about the roots of reggae in Thailand with Srirajah Rockers, a band that has been adapting reggae for Thai listeners with their unique style for decades. The band has introduced reggae to a new generation as well. Natasha Gitmok has more details.
This is the sound of Srirajah Rockers, the band that has helped reggae music alive in Thailand for decades. This is the sound of Srirajah Rockers, Thai reggae band that was formed 20 years ago by Win Shuchitarom from Srirajah. Today, Srirajah Rockers played an important role in keeping reggae alive in Thailand.
We, I think, found reggae like naturally, you know. Most teenagers, we play all kinds of music, and when we hear reggae music, something happens to us.
I start reggae music when I was young. I start from many kind of music, punk, rock, and ska punk, yeah, until ska and reggae music.
Srirajah Rockers creating a style that is uniquely their own.
Talking about reggae music, are there any difficulties or challenging parts when introducing reggae music to Thailand or Thai market?
Yeah, I think we are sort of an underground band. We don't have, you know, a traditional record label, and we do everything organically through our friendship. And so it's always been difficult in that way as a band to sustain and develop, build our fan base and not rely on external business, you know, people. And musically, reggae in Thailand actually has a period of time where it was quite popular. And the thing is, the type of reggae music at that time is very different from what we play now. So a lot of Thai society has expectation about Thai reggae music, and actually it had a strong identity before, but different from ours. And very much like about the popular style, ska music. I think also Thai culture, they have a tendency to do like a fusion type of cultural like inspiration,
right.
And
all
they make the Thai
yeah.
version of everything, you know.
Always, right?
Thai reggae is not like the other reggae, you know. And
unique, very unique.
Very unique, and they created a unique Thai reggae identity in the like 2000s, early 2000s. And for us, we got our inspiration from the older reggae music, from the different style of reggae music, and sort of like dub reggae and roots reggae. And it wasn't the Thai reggae style at the time. But now Thai reggae has evolved, and being together with Srirajah for a long time, watching the other bands in Thailand come up, new bands, new reggae sound. And I think now we have really developed a very special identity in the reggae world, you know. It's not like a Jamaican reggae exactly, you know, but it's its own style.
What does mean, like roots reggae music?
For me, the roots music is the intention behind our music. When I talk about the music coming before the ego, you know, it's the music of not just me, but our generation of people, history. Not forgetting the past, remembering all of the message that is delivered from us before reggae music, but through reggae music as well.
And now we get to know the band. Formed 20 years ago, Srirajah Rockers is now in its 4th generation and currently has about 11 members.
จริงๆแล้วเนี่ยศิราชา Rocker อยากสื่อสารอะไรออกไปให้แฟนเพลงนะคะ
อยากจะสื่อสารให้ทุกคนแบบต้องผ่านไปในแต่ละวันให้ได้ไม่ว่าจะดีหรือร้ายหรืออะไรอย่างเงี้ยครับอยากจะสื่อสารให้กับให้คนได้รู้สึกดีขึ้นกับการมีชีวิตนะครับ
แมสเสจของวินที่จะบอกก็คือเหมือนกับทำให้คนตระหนักว่าชีวิตมันไม่ต้องยากขนาดนั้นเนื้อหาส่วนใหญ่เนื้อหาจะหนักแต่ดนตรีมันคือดนตรีเต้นรำก็คือทุกครั้งที่โชว์ก็คือทุกคนบนเวทีจะมีมูฟโอเมนต์แล้วก็เชื่อว่าคนที่มาดูก็จะรู้สึกได้ว่าเฮ้ยมันเรกเก้มันเป็นเพลงเต้นรำ
Srirajah Rockers music carries the authenticity of life, offering encouragement for listeners to get through their everyday struggles while still enjoying the rhythm and movement. Life is not as hard as it seems, but when hardship comes, let the songs of Srirajah Rockers comfort you. Natasha Gitmok, Thai PBS, reports.
And we have to admit, though, that reggae music is still really rare in Thai pop music. And that's all for this edition of This Week with Thai PBS World. Join us every Friday at 10:30 p.m. only on Thai PBS. You can also follow us on social media and our website, thaipbsworld.com, for all the latest stories and analyses about Thailand. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. สวัสดีค่ะ